September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and it's important to understand the signs. Here in the Pikes Peak, there are dozens of resources available that focus on the mental health. Cass and David are here with Suicide Prevention Partnership with advice and some of those resources. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it is Suicide Prevention Month. That is happening this month of September. Why is it important to be able to have a month that dedicates to the awareness of suicide?
It's important because suicide is something that folks often don't think about until they have to. And on the other side of that coin, it's extremely preventable if you are aware of the warning signs and the resources that are available.
So in the spirit of awareness, I want you to share one fact that you think people should know about suicide.
There is a lifeline called 988 that you can text or call, or you can even go online and chat with someone. And you can be curious or you can be in crisis. You don't necessarily need to be in danger. You don't even have to be contacting 988 for yourself. It could be for someone that you're worried about. It's such a great entry point to get the help that you need, or just to feel like you can talk with someone about what's happening.
Is this a toll-free number as well?
Yes.
See, toll-free number, so you can really go out in there and help somebody or help yourself in that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things that we always express is ensuring that you just talk about it.
Yeah.
That it's not something that we keep. This is even why our race has these highlighter yellow shirts. Just
I was
to
like,
say,
you walked in and I was like, I love the highlighter yellow.
Yeah, that we just bring in for hope.
Yeah.
We say, hey, there's light in the midst of this darkness, but that only happens if we're willing to have the discussion around the word suicide. And just saying that could actually be a life-saving achievement.
Is there a general misconception that goes along with suicide, though, too?
Yeah, often we say that if I talk about it, we're going to put that idea in someone's head, and that's not true. That's not the reality of that. The reality is, if that thought's already there, I give them the opportunity now to actually have the conversation, and I can actually open it. I had an individual that took one of our trainings that said, hey, I talked about your training. I just said I went to suicide prevention training. And her friend stopped her and said, I've been thinking about suicide. That's how it could be a life-saving thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing up the topic gives permission to talk about it.
Wow. Is that something, so talk to me now about the signs then, so when I know maybe I should bring this up to start talking about it.
If someone just lands on your radar for really any reason, if you start to notice a change in their behavior, or you notice that some sort of interaction has come to your attention. Maybe they're being grumpy, maybe they're sleeping a lot, maybe you've noticed that their substance abuse has increased or something. And what we always say is, like, get curious first. We are a very consequence-based culture, and so it's just like saying, hey, I noticed this thing and I'm wondering if we can talk about it because I'm worried about you, because I care.
Yeah.
And it can be that simple, like just something of a conversation starter, or just, hey, I noticed this, do you want to talk?
Yeah, and one thing people always say is, you know, what does a sign look like? And so sometimes just paying attention to what's happening in someone's life. Are they going through something that would incite negative emotions, especially emotions like rejection or feeling like a burden or just feeling like I have nowhere to go or nothing else that I can do? Those are really just situational things that should kind of make that alert come up and make you just have a conversation and, you know, infuse some support.
Speaking about having a conversation, Race Against Suicide, it's coming up. It'll be here this month. Can we talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. Sunday, September 21st, we're going to be out at the El Pomar Sporting Complex, and we're going to be racing and walking for against suicide and for hope here in this community.
It's a special event because it's both a memorial and an awareness event.
Oh, it is.
We partner with our friends at Heartbeat Survivors After Suicide to do a memorial tree planting. So even now, if you have a loved one who you would like to honor who died by suicide, you can submit their name. And their names, we open the event with a reading of the names and just remembering those who we have lost. Remembering those who we have lost is a way to help us help those who are still here.
Is that something important, though, to mention as well, is remembering those who've lost?
We were just talking about this actually before coming here, and the idea of just being able to, in your grieving process, remember those and honor those that we've lost with any type of loss. And in this particular situation, we actually plant a tree with these biodegradable slips of names that get planted with the root of that tree to spring life into that process. And many trees have been planted around that sports complex simply because of the work that we're doing at this race. So it is a memorable moment and also a part of the grieving process of that as well for individuals.
Oh gosh, I have chills right now. I can't even imagine. Well, guys, thank you so much. If somebody might have want to be able to do more and maybe help in the prevention or more about the awareness, where can they go for a little bit more information on that?
You can go to pikespeaksuicideprevention.org. You can also look us up on social media, and we can connect you with all of the resources or any information that you might need.
Cass, David, thank you both for being here so much. I want to get me one of those highlighter tees, so I guess I got to sign up for this race. Sound
Yes,
good?
that'd be awesome.
All right, guys, if you have an immediate help or call, make sure you text that Colorado Mental Health line that Cass told us about at 988. More resources can be found at pikespeaksuicideprevention.org. We'd also like to thank them for bringing us this segment and giving us more awareness during the month of suicide prevention. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.